Here in Central Florida, Lake Mary is generally regarded as one of the premier places to live. However, we all know that every rose has its thorn, and as such, I'm going to take just a few minutes today to address some of the pros of Lake Mary, and then I'll address just a few of the cons that you may not have considered if you're thinking about moving to Lake Mary. Now, it's important to know that my intent here is not to sell you on Lake Mary or just to tell you how bad it is for that matter. The truth is that I love Lake Mary. There are a lot of reasons that people love this suburb on the north side of Orlando, but these cons just might surprise you. Because I don't want to sound like I'm hating on Lake Mary, I'll be addressing some of the reasons people would want to live here first. So let's start with Lake Mary simply being a nice place to live. Of course, crime is a real thing everywhere these days, but when I'm out with my wife in Lake Mary here, say day or night, I always feel safe. We don't have much in the way of panhandlers here, and the crime rate, which I suspect is pretty low, can be pretty quickly and pretty easily checked out online. I'm Chuck Shaver.
And I'm Kyla.
And we're local realtors here in Central Florida. If you're finding value so far, give us a quick thumbs up, as it's a huge help to help support this local channel. The overall standard of living here is very high. Most of Lake Mary was built out in the 80s, so it's much newer than other areas like Sanford next door and Orlando down to the south. I'll be addressing the standard of living a bit later. Next, there are a lot of jobs right here in Lake Mary. Now, you could drive down to Orlando to work, but Lake Mary has Verizon, AAA, Deloitte, Convergys, Mitsubishi, and a whole bunch of other tech and administrative type jobs, many of which are along a really nice area not too far from I-4. Lake Mary also has all sorts of shopping and restaurants right here too. There's a trendy little downtown area if that's your thing, and Lake Mary Boulevard has a Home Depot and some chain restaurants. Now, we don't have to contend with tourists up here, which we see as a good thing. Yes, we all benefit from them passing through and leaving their money in Lake Mary on their way down to the Mouse, Universal, and all that. But their traffic, their tall black socks, their funny hats and sunglasses, all that chaos just doesn't impact us this far north. Seminole County, where Lake Mary is known to have some of the best schools in the entire area. Of course, these ratings change quite a bit, so make sure you go online and do a quick check to see how they rate today and to see if they're still good when you come to Lake Mary. I'll include a link to Seminole County school system and one for some crime rates, which I spoke of earlier in the comments section down below. Lake Mary has a good bit of recreation too. There is all sorts of golfing here. We've got the Cross Seminole Trail that heads south out of Lake Mary and the East Central Rail Trail to the north, and you can take that all the way from Debary all the way over to the East Coast. They're big on parks too, so if that's your thing, there's a whole lot here for you. Before I get to that thorn I spoke of a few minutes ago, hit that subscribe button and click that little bell. That way you'll be notified whenever I post other videos just like this. I noted earlier that Lake Mary has a very high standard of living, and that's a great thing if you can afford that standard of living. The median sale price of a home here in Lake Mary at the time of this video is a little over $400 grand. That's about $10,000 higher than down in Orlando and about $35,000 more than Debary up to the north. That's pretty steep for Central Florida, so unless you have one of those high-paying jobs in one of those tech companies, or you're some sort of manager, you could struggle to make it here. If you've got a regular job with the city or at one of those attractions down in Orlando, it may be tough. There are all sorts of Porsches, Mercedes, and all sorts of exotic cars around here, but they're mostly living in Heathrow, Steeplechase, Alaqua, or in some private estate. I'll include links to a couple of those neighborhoods as well here in a bit. Want a historic home? Something eclectic? Well, there isn't too much here in the way of options. There are some townhomes and condos, but if you're looking for variety, you're going to have to head east to Sanford or down towards Longwood or Orlando if variety is what you're after. If you're thinking of moving to the Lake Mary area, or if you just have questions about the Lake Mary real estate market, give us a call. We get those calls all the time and we love it. Next, let's address the location. I've said in another video that the location of Lake Mary is great, and I believe that there are two sides to this location piece. Yes, jobs are close and there's plenty of shopping and eats close by, and Orlando is just down the road. But Orlando has a ton of traffic. Now, I'm not saying that it's LA, New York City, or Atlanta bad, but it's creeping up there. Even with the addition of the express lanes in Orlando, I never go to Orlando without expecting to get held up in the traffic. As such, if you're thinking about working down in Orlando, you may consider the Sunrail or just expect the toll roads to lessen the likelihood of you sitting in that traffic. Yes, the beaches are just down the road, but they'll take you 45 minutes, again, assuming that I-4 isn't stacked up. It seems like these days, if you head to New Smyrna Beach after, I don't know, like 8 a.m. on the weekends, you're going to add another 10 or 15 minutes onto that. So it isn't like you're heading to the beach after work, or at least very often. Are there other cons of Lake Mary? I'm sure there are. So please comment your thoughts in the comment section below so this entire community can benefit. Looking for other information on Lake Mary or suburbs of Orlando? You can find others on our channel. Here are a couple other videos as I promised earlier. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.